I've got bullet points, but I don't have like.
Sorry, Ken.
All right, tell me when you're ready, Jen.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, my name's Professor Ken Brosky, English. So when I was 11 and when my sister was 7 years old, she had a seizure. And I found her upstairs in her house and she was foaming at the mouth. And I called 911 and we had to take her to the hospital. I had to stay at my friend's place for a couple of days because it was pretty bad. I think it was encephalitis. It was a brain infection. And so she was in a coma and we had no idea if she was going to get out. At one point, actually, she woke up and she somehow got the window to the hospital open and she was going to jump out the window because she said she saw an angel. But we decided maybe it would be better if we just put her back in the hospital bed, because she was awake and we were so happy, right? So she did wake up. But the problem was the doctors didn't really know what was going to happen next to her because of this brain infection. So there was, I don't know the science behind it, but there was this goal. It was basically she needs to stay awake for 24 hours. They need to exhaust the brain, like to just get her to a point where if the infection takes over, then we know that it's something that's going to be an issue, right? So we came up with this plan as a family. We're going to stay up. We're going to do an all-nighter, basically, right? So we have all these games. We have all these movies set up. We have dinner at like 9 p.m., which is very unusual for us. As it gets later and later, we just start dropping off. Like my mom is the first one to drop off, I think. She falls asleep. I think I made it to maybe like midnight or 1 a.m., but of course I had too much sugar, and then I had a sugar crash, right? And I was 11 years old, and I couldn't do it. So it was basically my dad and my sister awake at 3 in the morning. They're 3 hours away from like their doctor's appointment. She's getting really tired, so he decides, well, I'm going to take my daughter to her favorite playground. So they walk to their favorite playground, which is like 4 blocks from our house when we were growing up. And so they're playing around at like 3 in the morning, and some police drive by once in a while, and they think it's weird, but nobody seems to care, right? And 4 a.m. rolls around, and my sister's on the verge of just falling asleep, right? And so my dad, he grabs her, and he says, if you can stay awake for 2 more hours, I'll take you to Disney World, right? She makes it. She gets it 2 more hours. They go to the doctor. There was no issue, which means the encephalitis, whatever the infection was, it had passed. She was okay, right? So fast forward about 6 months later, my parents are however many thousands of dollars poorer because we're at Disney World. And we're doing everything. We're going on every ride. We're eating the Mickey Mouse shaped waffles and everything, right? And there's this ride that my sister really wants to do. It's that ride where like you get into like a shuttle and it goes up and down and all around, right? But the line is super long. This is like pre-VIP access days, okay? So we do everything else and we come back, but the park is closing. The park is closing down. Like literally, we're like some of the last people left in the park. We're running to this ride. We get to the ride and it's closed. So the operator is coming out of the booth and we're shouting at him. We're like, we just want to do this one ride. We're waiting for it, blah, 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 blah. And we're just pouring our hearts out to this poor, minimum wage worker who doesn't know anything about anything, right? And he finally says, okay, fine, let's do it, right? So he gets us on the ride and we're having the time of our life. My sister's having this great time and it starts to slow, right? And the rider gets on the intercom and he says, that one was from Mickey. This one is from me. And he gives us another ride. Well,